Everybody's ready? Welcome, everyone. This is a special meeting of the Guam Public Utilities Commission. It's 6:45 p.m., June 5th, 2023. All commissioners are here this evening with the exception of Rowena. And first order of business is the approval of the minutes of April 27, 2023. Oh, yes, Fred.
Can we go over the emergency?
Yes, go over the emergency first.
So we did have some problems involving notice for this hearing. The Daily Post for a number of days following the typhoon was not a newspaper of general publication. They were only doing the online version and not the printed version. The open government law requires publication in a newspaper of general publication. Colleen Larson, our assistant UC administrator, had requested that they publish the notice, I guess, first on May 22nd. They said, I'm sorry, May 25th. They said they couldn't because of the uncertainty of the typhoon. So there were a number of problems, but we do have Section 5 GCA 8108, which allows the declaration of an emergency and also provides that in special meetings held under that section, that the public agency is not required to give notice of its meetings by paid advertisements in any newspaper or over any broadcasting station. So in my opinion, emergency conditions do justify the holding of the meeting. 3 grounds. First of all, with regard to the LEAC matter, already the new LEAC rate had been made effective by the chairman's order June 1st. But to ensure that that is approved and that the commission hears it, I believe that it is necessary to hold a session tonight so that the commission can confirm that decision. Otherwise, arguably, there's a possibility that ratepayers would be paying more than they should for the LEAC rate. Also, with regard to the matter of the Solid Waste Authority and the 3 electric trucks, they had a deadline. The deadline was May 29th. So again, we use the kind of emergency procedure of a chairman's order, but these matters are pressing and really require immediate attention. And thirdly, of course, there's Typhoon Mawar itself, which has caused most of the problems regarding publication and otherwise. So for that reason, I'm asking the commissioners to approve the certification of this meeting as an emergency special meeting conducted pursuant to 5 GCA 8108.
Thank you, Fred. Is there a motion? Second? Second. Joe seconds. All in favor say aye. Aye. The motion carries unanimously. Next item is approval of minutes of April 27, 2023. Is there a motion?
Motion to approve subject to corrections.
Thank you, Pete. Second? Joe seconds. All in favor say aye. Aye. The motion carries unanimously. Next item is GSWA docket 2304, petition for review and approval of the purchase of mini electric refuse trucks from Global Enterprise Incorporated. We have an ALJ report and a ratification order. Fred.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So in this matter, the commissioners are very familiar with the situation of solid waste and the refuse trucks. They've been fighting for months and months now to keep an adequate supply of refuse trucks, and the shortage has threatened solid waste's ability to carry out the garbage pickup. So they're still really in need of these refuse trucks to pick up the garbage around the island. As the papers point out, and by the way, I want to mention Solid Waste and its council did an excellent job in the petition that they filed. It really completely covers the situation here. And the first very evident fact is that Solid Waste went out 3 times to try to procure these electric trucks locally, and were never able to get a bid at all. So what solid waste did in a kind of a creative move, they moved to a procedure where the local General Services Administration can procure through the federal General Services procurement entity. And this procedure is set up in a federal statute and a local statute that basically provides if GSA can get a offer that's 10% better, I think you could say, than a local bid, they can go through this federal procedure. So the local GSA going through the federal GSA. And that's what happened here. There's a little kind of a glitch in that there were no local bids. So how do you determine what's 10% less? But the Attorney General previously had approved an opinion which basically said that determination is up to the local GSA. So here basically the GSA used the federal bid and said that, yeah, the local bid would be 10% more. So that justifies the use of this procedure, and it's backed up by the Attorney General's opinion. These three electric trucks, the mini electric trucks, and they're the smaller trucks. And I think they were originally going to be a 8 cubic yard capacity. I believe they ended up at 6, but solid waste will cover that particular issue. There's no doubt that they need trucks. The justification has been before you in the prior docket, that was 2303, where the commission found GSWA has an urgent need for new refuse trucks. Any further delay here could definitely impact GSWA's ability to collect household refuse. As I indicated, the petition has established that this purchase is validated in law. It's allowed by the law and the different statutes that were cited, which are 5 GCA 5122 and the federal statute, also 48 USC section 1469E. The approval here of the purchase of these trucks is in the best interest of ratepayers and is reasonable, prudent, and necessary. It's necessary to complete the upgrade and replacement of GSWA's aging fleet that was originally purchased between 2009 and 2018 by the federal receiver. The price includes a 5-year warranty, parts, labor, transmission, and body maintenance. There are 3 mini electric trucks. There's 1 charging station, and also the price includes shipping. So the original price in this matter that GSWA was asking for approval on is $1,370,324. Now, as I mentioned before, what we did in this case was to use a chairman's order. And the reason that was necessary was in the quote for these trucks, it indicated that the quote had to be accepted by May 29. So because we weren't, the commission wasn't meeting until the 5th, we used the sometimes used procedure of the chairman's order to expedite a really urgent matter that had to be done. So the chairman on May 19th did sign an order on behalf of the commission. The commissioners had all consented to that procedure in this case. And you have before you the chairman's order, which basically adopted the reasoning in the AOJ report and authorized GSWA to proceed ahead with the purchase of the electric trucks. Now, one additional wrinkle that came up, after the chairman had signed his order, GSWA filed an amendment to the petition, and there had been some relatively minor changes in the total cost. These involve shippings, reduction of price for some matters. it's all spelled out basically in the proposed ratification order. And well, the three items were, first of all, there was an $8,647.01 decrease in the price of each truck from $412,559 to $403,911.99. There was an offset that increased the price of the charging station. There's only one charging station. The price increased it by $8,647.01. And then finally, a correction to the shipping cost. The $13,470 was not the total cost, but the shipping cost per truck. So overall, the price changed from $1,370,324 to $1,379,969.98. And so the amendment requested that the commission approve that. So before you tonight is the ratification order, and it goes through the background of the chairman's order and the ALJ report and what was indicated in those reports, as I've stated, and as well the proposed amendment to change the price with an additional $23,115.98. So the ordering provision here, the commissioners are asked to adopt the ALJ report dated May 18th, to also adopt, approve, ratify, and affirm the chairman's order executed on May 19th, 2023. And finally, for the commission to authorize the additional amount of $23,115.98. And this is what was included in Global Enterprise Inc.'s revised quote. And I believe, by the way, I think Global was the only bidder on this matter. And they were contacted through the federal GSA. So that will be a total of $1,379,969.98 for the purchase of 3 mini electric refuse trucks and the charger in accordance with the revised quoting price.
Thank you, Fred. Any comments from GSWA this evening?
Apparently one of the members had a question on the 6 cubic yards versus the 8. And so the small electrics with the 8 cubic yards have a horizontal ram compression. And you can get about 800 pounds per cubic yard in that 8 cubic yard body. The curb tender is a 6-yard body, but it has a dual compaction. So you'll get 1,000 to 1,200. So you can fit a little bit more refuse in the smaller body. And so that's why we actually put that in the communications to Claudia when she made the award, tell them that it was acceptable. In fact, it's a little superior to the 8 cubic yard. And somebody else had a question on the warranty. I put a notification into Brenda Yuletan. She's the GSA coordinator that we have here on the island, to ask the manufacturer if an extended warranty is possible. I searched online and found out that they do offer it for their corporate clients, Coca-Cola, FedEx, and Walmart. So we'll find out what that cost is, and we would, if it's advantageous, we may purchase it outside of this procurement. But I would like to get GSWA on a 5-year schedule to replace its equipment, so we don't end up with aged equipment that costs more to repair, even if it had an extended warranty, so that we get a higher resale value and our equipment has higher production value than it does trying to get it repaired.
What type of range do these trucks have?
So we looked at that when we were looking at this particular truck we researched. Basically for Guam's traffic, you can fully charge it and get 3 days worth of service out of it. So that's why a single charger is more than adequate. We would just rotate the vehicles through there. it's a smart charger too, so that it wouldn't impact GPA's grid, draw electricity at a peak hour. We could set it to whatever time it's a low usage.
What he,
Just any concerns with having one charger and it's all electric vehicles? If anything happens to that charger, are we down to a fleet of 3?
Well, no, we also looked at, like, Triple J actually has a charger, so that yeah, and we've already worked out an arrangement that's certain 23 cents per kilowatt hour, something like that. So we worked out the arrangement, should that one fail, we have at least that one, if not, there's a few more on the island that we would take advantage of.
I was glad to hear that you guys were looking at the electric vehicles. Just, talking to family members that have cars now. California is Tesla country at this point, but it seems that they have less or fewer maintenance issues because there's no oil changing, it's strictly the wear and tear of the tires, and then the battery is really pretty much the warranty.
Right.
So the maintenance part of it is what we were looking for, and we kind of suggested to go electric in this case. So glad you guys were able to secure the GSA bid.
With the purchase price, there's a training for our own mechanic and well as a driver, so they're fully behind the vehicle that way.
So that was the 70 to 100 miles get per charge.
George?
Just following up on that, are the people gonna come to Guam to install the charger and do all that training?
They could, and that's available to us should we wish. We've contracted some local electrical contractors. We've looked at the installation manual for this charger. It doesn't appear to be any significant difficulty in hooking it up, so we may actually have an on-island electrician do that for us.
Oh, I recall. How is that coming along?
Those are going to be delivered, 2 in July, 1 in August, and with these small electrics, it's the same time schedule. So it's really beneficial. We'll have 6 brand new trucks very early this summer.
So how are you maintaining your schedule? Because I know during big typhoons or that cases delays and I'm not mentioning about it or anything about it. I understand where you are, but how are you holding up?
Well, thankfully, we were able to get a mechanic last year, and what we've tasked is we spent more in maintenance to basically do mini rebuilds because we knew it was at this length of time before we could get new vehicles, and that's enabled us to keep at least 5 trucks on the road at any given time. We can put 8 on, but they're not as reliable, hence the reason for delays.
So, when, I gather then you're gonna be coming soon, get some more trucks?
There's, we've put together another bid proposal, gotten approval to actually do a dual procurement, so we'll go locally, and we'll also be able to go through the federal GSA. They actually have a superior delivery schedule, and in the Guam's code, you can make the award based on price, the local price preference, and also on a delivery schedule. We would like to look at all of those options to get the complete fleet of 4 additional trucks as soon as we can.
How many do you need normally?
10.
Are all of them electric?
We tried the electric and we didn't get any responses for the 4 large electric. So we're switching now to 4 diesels, 4 large diesels.
Yeah, these mini electrics are anticipating, is there come in like end of year or?
No, this coming July.
The PO says 210 days delivery.
That was when it was submitted in April. So,
So they're scheduled to come in July.
yeah, if we made the award by May 29th, which we did.
What's the step here? We just motion to approve. Approve ratification, chairman's ratification.
Thank you, Pete. Second. Joe is second. Everybody in favor, say aye. Motion passes unanimously.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Next item is GPA docket 2315, but I believe that has been postponed this evening.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, both that docket and, the EPCM, the liquid natural gas 2317, that's going to require some more work. So those first two GPA, yes, I have a lot of questions, a lot. So that's going to take a lot of work.
Yes. I glazed over that.
We'll talk about it. Let's talk about it. So the next, Mr. Chairman, the next matter is Mr. Camacho's docket 2318.
So GPA docket 2318, petition to authorize GPA and GWA to procure merchant banking services. We have a PUC council report and a move program.
Yeah, so, excuse me, Mr. Chair, I'm sorry, but I'm gonna run into caution, although this.
Mike is confused.
Yes, so essentially, what they're asking is to approve the issuance of a solicitation for merchant banking services. Now, this is GPA's request, but the merchant banking services would be for GPA, GWA, and the Guam Solid Waste Authority. That's by memorandum of agreement between the agency for GSWA. And that's the current, basically the current contract is with, I believe it's First Hawaiian Bank. And that contract, yeah, it's First Hawaiian Bank. That's the current provider of these services to all three entities. That contract is set to expire around June the 30th of 2023. Technically, it expired this month, but they agreed to continue it for 30 more days. Now, essentially, so the contract review protocol would apply here because the cost is estimated to be more than $1,500,000 for GPA. And essentially, I found in my review of the petition that the estimated cost of the merchant banking services is reasonable. GPA alone estimates to be like 1.2 million, and of course the driver of cost is the amount of times that the point of sale for these transactions is used. And if you look at the data provided by GPA and GWA, you would notice that since 2017 at least, there's only an increase in the use of merchant banking services. I forgot to describe what that was. That's the use of debit cards, credit cards, pay by phone, and pay by mobile application. So it's directly tied to the use of cellular technology, if you will, or internet technology, and that use has only gone up since 2017. It's anticipated to increase this year. Hence, although there'll probably be a slightly larger amount paid for the fees for the merchant banking services, it'll be due to the fact that more people are using the internet, more people are paying by phone, more people are using the mobile apps than before. So hence I found it used to be reasonable. The solicitation for merchant banking services also found to be prudent. GPA received the amount of about 183 or so million for the last year, that's 2022 alone, in merchant banking services transactions. GWA received approximately 47 million from these types of payments for these transactions. It's GSWA didn't provide any data, so I don't know how it's used there, but these numbers are telling, and it's prudent for them to issue this solicitation for these services, because this is a tremendous revenue generator, if you will. This is becoming the preferred method the ratepayers are using to pay, and so it's prudent for us to authorize GDEP or GPA to issue this solicitation. Finally, I find that the solicitation for merchant banking services is necessary. Once again, the numbers tell the same tale. Essentially, to look how drastically these types of transactions have increased. In 2017, GPA had about 97,000 or so of these types of payments. This increased to 372,000 of these types of payments in 2022. GWA also saw an increase in its online and pay-by-phone payments, with 144,000 payments in 2018, which grew to 292,000 payments by 2022. Hence, this trend of receiving payments online and via phone will only increase with each coming year, and emerging banking services is necessary to meet the growing customer demand that GPA, GWA, and GSWA rather receive payments on this matter. Sorry, my voice is kind of a little scratchy. Hence, I recommended that the PUC authorize the issuance of this solicitation. GPA, once it identifies a vendor that it wants to award the contract to, they would have to come back to the PUC with that contract and authorize or get an authorization to execute that contract. And I've submitted a proposed order which would grant the petition. Subject to your questions. Thank you.
Comments, Mr. King? Go ahead, Doris.
I just have one general question. I know this is the total number of transactions, but do you have a number on like approximately what percentage of your total customers go online? Because I know that there's occasion when I go to your rally, I still see long lines of people paying this time and pay.
Yes, yes. The one is, there are a lot of people coming in knowledge, but I think main office. And there's also more traffic on all it's two.
Thank you.
I think, Doris, it looks like probably be at the 70% range. Looks like if you look at the window transactions versus the online pay-by transactions, just add those up and multiply it. You can see Windows is 311 for GWA, and then online is a bit 38.
I think it's the bulk of it.
Yeah, it's the bulk. It's pretty much the bulk. And we can thank pretty much the pandemic for making it easier for everybody to pay online. So now there's no going back. So I noticed that we have where it's the percentage rate, credit card fees are going down. So it's at 1.33 for this last year. Do you anticipate it to go down further, the credit card fees, or is it going to go up?
That's what happened actually, we had a rate almost like that, at 75%. But that rate has been about the first time that not about so it is different than that rate. So let's say 10. That's what we have to do. So all the contract has that rate.
And these fees are all absorbed by GPA. They're not passed on to the customer at the transaction site.
Yes, all the requirements for these GPA or master GPA is that without it, it has to install the
Right.
So we have the GPA for the master comps, that's 10%, also display 10%. It doesn't matter how big it's at. The bank takes about 0.2%.
That brings up a good point then. based on the million something transactions that are online, do you know what the average ticket item is?
Yes, yeah, because we do have a number at.
Because if it's like $5 or something, then we're paying 75 cents on a $5 transaction, which is gonna be higher.
Yes,
So-
they're usually around the average consumers of 1,000 consumers times, like right now it's 40 cents, would be about $400 per transaction.
The average is about $40 a day. Okay. Thanks, John.
Anything else? Is there a motion?
Just real quick to answer Commissioner Forrest Brooks's question. In 2022, the 63,932 counter transactions, that's person to person, constituted approximately 15% of the transactions. The bulk, the obvious majority of those were the online transactions for 2022. So,
Thanks, Anthony. Is there a motion?
Motion to approve docket 2318, GPA docket 2318.
Thank you, Pete. Second? Joe seconds. All in favor, say aye. The motion carries unanimously. And next is GPA docket 2316, petition to approve a reduced LEAC factor. We have an ALJ report and a ratification order. Greg?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So the commissioners, again, are familiar with the history of LEAC. 2020, I guess, up through present, LEAC, the rate increased by about four times, from 8 cents to 32 cents. And since November of last year, the LEAC factor rate has been roughly 32 cents. Now, in this matter, GPA in April filed its, or first had a CCU meeting where they approved the reduction of the LEAC factor. And the original reduction proposed was 24.8 cents. That was approved by the CCU in April, and based upon the fuel factors that they had gleaned at that time from the Morgan Stanley morning call reports. Certainly a reduction of the LEAC factor is justified at this time. The fuel prices have really gone down quite considerably. From June of this year through January of 2024, the average price of RFO and ultra-low sulfur fuel oil has gone down to $130.54 a barrel, and the average price for diesel, $103.23. So basically, the worldwide reduction in fuel prices has justified that reducing of the LEAC factor that the ratepayers are now paying. Two main factors, the steep decline in fuel prices and the LEAC factor proposed by GPA would reduce or actually provide a slight over recovery of $10,000 by January 31, 2024. Now, when I got the GPA petition, again, of course, we always look at the updated fuel factor, the fuel prices in May, which was a month later, to see what the Morgan Stanley fuel prices indicated. And they had again indicated a further considerable drop to basically a price for diesel of about $90 a barrel. So again, in between the time GPA filed its petition and when I was reviewing it, there was a further justification that was justified. And then I worked with CFO Kim to come up with a reduced LEAC factor to meet the new fuel prices, and that is proposed at 23.144 cents per kilowatt hour. So that's the basic reduction in the LEAC that the ALJ report recommends. And let's see, this results in about, I want to say, a 27% reduction in LEAC, the LEAC factor, around a 21% in the total bill, and 9 cents overall, from 32 cents down to roughly 23 cents of the new LEAC factor. So the report that I prepared did recommend that new LEAC factor of 23 cents be adopted. Now, again, we had a timing problem because this meeting was not occurring until June 5th, and the new LEAC rate had to go into effect June 1st. So again, we use the emergency procedure of the chairman's order, which the commissioners had all basically agreed to. So based on that, the chairman signed an order which, effective June 1st, reduced the secondary LEAC factor to 23.1144 cents per kilowatt hour effective June 1st. It also established the other primary 13.8 kV and 34.5 kV LEAC factors and the transmission factor. And the order also made it clear that this was an interim order and would remain in effect until further action by the commission. One other factor, by the way, that was mentioned in the report was the legislation to continue to provide a subsidy to the ratepayers. And let's see, that originally was bill number 83-37, which provides $100 each month for the months of May, June, July, August, and September of this year to the ratepayers. And since the report was written, the governor did approve that. So that will be another help to the ratepayers here. And one reason I thought it was so important to have this meeting is just to establish, this reduction in the LEAC rate, because of course it would not be fair to the ratepayers if there were any question about when it goes into effect. So I thought that the use of these emergency procedures and chairman's order were certainly justified to ensure that ratepayers don't pay more than they should be paying for the LEAC. Before you now is a ratification order, and this goes through the events that I have already described and explained. It approves the rates that were set by the chairman effective June 1st on the secondary rate and the other rates. And it then will continue, if you approve the ratification order, it will continue this LEAC effect until January 31st of 2024. And at that time, of course, you would set, in January of 2024, you set a new LEAC rate beginning February 1st. So this will still eliminate just about all the under recovery. There won't be any further under recovery. And we can then see in the future what fuel oil prices do. It seemed recently, even after my ALJ report was written, the fuel prices seem to be going down. But I haven't received any updated reports since the typhoon. So we'll have to see what the future holds. But thank you.
Thanks, Fred.
Wall Street Journal today that Saudi Arabia cuts oil out from that flash. So that might be why the oil who knows?
Any comments, Mr. Kim?
No comments, but thank you for getting to this, Leanne.
Fred, what was the under recovery going to be in January based on this new rate? What are we going to be at?
I believe there's none.
No, we We have a surplus of 10,000
Well, originally,
based upon.
with the new, let's see.
Yes.
Basically,
The original projection was a surplus of $10,000, but due to typhoon, projection might change a little.
That's
basically,
because we're not burning as much.
Yes, we are not burning as much.
another way to reduce LEAC is you just don't burn any fuel.
The figures indicate no under recovery as of January 31st, 2020.
If everybody recalls, we were 47 million in the hole last summer, so done pretty well here.
Yes.
It was kind of brutal going through this period of time, but we've gotten through it now together.
Yes.
So it's going to be welcome relief to the ratepayers.
Just a side topic, do you know what how much of the delay, the typhoon damages of the new power plant are gonna cause, kind of pushback? It sounds like-
They had a catastrophic loss. The water tanker collapsed, was nearly completed, and the fuel tanker collapsed.
Fuel
The
tank
fuel tanker,
collapsed.
collapsed. They were building, it.
The walls crumpled.
They were going up, and then,
Yeah.
two new power plant,
Two new tanks,
This is the new one?
yes.
for down in Oakland.
Yes, it's almost completed, but the wind was so strong it collapsed the tanks.
Before they could complete it.
Yes. The wind was, people don't realize this was really strong wind. My concrete fence actually broke in two. That's how strong, and it had rebars. That's how strong the wind was in the north.
Our French doors blew out,
Oh, wow.
and so for the next, around 8:30 this evening, and Jim and I spent the next 10 hours holding the door.
Wow.
Holding the door.
That's insane.
We never slept that night,
Yeah, it was a really strong wind.
because they cut the pinhole, cut the thing out, and
But do you know how long it took them to build those tanks, to get them where they were?
Almost a year.
A year, so we're about a year out
Yes.
to rebuild them. Yes. 2026.
are they gonna back out?
No,
Can't say, I don't know.
Yeah,
I doubt we back out.
I mean, that's a major. That's a major question.
Speed bumps.
That should qualify for FEMA.
Are you guys looking at FEMA or?
We didn't ask, but something we could inquire about.
I was gonna have
Just the time delay, really?
because, you know, there's a contractor that's walk away from this.
Yeah, this is like.
Let's have some positive energy here.
Yeah.
I am so negative right now. I'm so negative.
Oh, really? We couldn't tell.
Can't you see the sparks?
After 10 hours of holding that door, I can appreciate your.
Well, let's talk about the positive of having zero under recovery and lowering the pricing of fuel and lowering the price of bills for the community.
On the positive note, the $100 credit, I think DOE will be transmitting some amount this week. So the $100 will be shown to the customer this week.
But it's going back to May, Billy, right? So
Yes.
June for- okay, so-
Yeah, it will be in this,
So you'll get 100 plus the newly active May.
yes,
Okay, great.
but they'll see it this month.
No further discussions, I want a motion to approve docket 2316.
Thank you. Second? Joe seconds. All in favor, say aye. The motion carries unanimous.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Oh, that was a clarification.
Next item is administrative matters. We're discussing a meeting schedule for the summer, June, July.
Of course, I'm just providing my view, and the commissioners can do anything they want on this, but we have a lot of things coming up. Just to list a few, we have the RFP process for our 9 consultants. That has to be done by September. We will have this LNG matter. We have a true up from Waterworks. You may have seen in the newspaper today that Waterworks is proposing a 27% increase effective October 1st. And PM Bordalio didn't have kind things to say about the PUC to me. Anyway, we're working on that. I'm working with Georgetown. I'll kind of, I think, be the one to deal with Waterworks rather than Georgetown directly, so we can try to cut down some of the animosity that occurred before. But anyway, that's on the plate. Solid Waste Authority is about to file a rate case. They should be filing early July. Of course, we'll have all the USAC petitions in September. Just from my perspective, we need the meetings every month. But of course, commissioners, as always, determine what their schedules and trips are. But I'm just thinking it would not be wise to take off an entire month.
He means the commission schedule.
Oh,
So individual commissioners
Yeah,
can.
individually.
because we won't. And this was long scheduled for the session, and I'm looking forward to this.
All right, Doris is positive now.
That's just my recommendation.
I'm gonna start myself here too. I'm here all of June and July. I'm not going anywhere, but in August I will be gone. And Doris will be gone in July.
I'll be, July I should be here, that's on the 27th. August is the end of the month, the 31st, so, it is.
Yeah, is it the 31st in August?
August 31st, yeah.
So then I could be here probably, so I can probably make all three.
Because that's right before that, when's, Labor Day? 5th? 20th? September? Or 4th, I think.
Are we still having the last group that should be over here?
Yeah.
On the 31st?
Yeah, so June 29th,
June 29th will be the June meeting.
to be July 27th, and August 31st. Those are the 3 dates.
Just July.
So I should be here for all three. Okay,
Yeah, questionable for June, July, and August should be here.
Pedro? Pedro's going nowhere. Okay, we'll have quorums. So, Fred, I think we can just keep our regular schedule. Yeah. Okay, that was easy enough. And Doris, you may go on vacation in July. Where are you gonna go this time?
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, motion to adjourn.
Start off
Call for the vote. Call for the vote.
Go ahead.
Motion to adjourn.
All in favor? Thank you up there.
Okay.
Put your hands up if you have water.